Amolo Odinga.
Gazetted on what's really expected from this particular debate.
Itashinda William. Kwani William lazima weke pay bill ndio pesa ifike? Si watu wa pay bill mnawajua? Si yake iko. Wacha watu.
I, Jomo Kenyatta.
Raila Amolo Odinga, in full realization of the high calling, assume the office of the people's president.
I, Uhuru Kenyatta.
In full realization of the
I, William Samoei Ruto,
in full realization
of the high calling
I assume as president
of Kenya.
I, Rigathi Gachagua,
in full realization
of the high calling
I assume as deputy president of the Republic of Kenya.
Very good morning and welcome to Swechotv. This is the best place that I would encourage you to always keep time and watch. I'm bringing to you live the hot seat with me, one and only Dedan. We're coming to you live every Monday to Friday. I believe that you had an active and a blessed weekend. It's another day. We appreciate that we meet today, being on a Monday. I know you've been expecting a lot from whatever happened across the country. That's of course as far as politics is concerned, where we saw Linda Mwananchi team visiting Homa County, and of course several individuals also. We've seen leaders during this weekend having tours in most part of the country. And those are one of the things that we are going to look into. Just in case you are joining me for the first time, this is Swechotv, of course, the leading online TV station across the country. And I would encourage you that just if suppose you haven't subscribed or follow us, then please do so, so that anytime we join, or rather we bring you something live or we post anything, then you become the first person to view. And of course, if suppose you've watched it somewhere else, then please just create time and have a look at it in Swechotv, because perhaps it never happened. Thank you thank you again for the last time, and welcome. We begin this particular journey together. Now, we saw Linda Mwananchi touring Homa County. That's of course just yesterday, and this is something that people have been expecting and having different views, because earlier on, just as Linda Mwananchi team had stated, and they have also raised alarm to the security sector that in as much as they are planning to visit that particular country, then there are high chances of goons attacking them, and therefore the place where they were supposed to meet, and of course the hotels where they had booked, they reportedly said that there are individuals who are targeting them from those particular hotels, or rather those particular homes, and therefore they had a request for the security sector to at least ensure that they are protected, and the entire team feels safe before they began that particular journey until the end of it. And you realize that later on, the PS Interior Dr. Raymond Omolo came out and addressed that particular issue and assured them that they are going, the security team is going to ensure that they arrive safe. And of course, because each and every individual has the right to visit any part of the country and not like having some zonal issues in visiting parts of the country as far as politics is concerned. And of course, as much as we have different political parties, and that is something that was a positive, was a very nice movement by the security sectors to ensure that movement of no movement is restricted at any point. And now that was something very great. But again, according to what we saw that happened, of course, we saw goons like interfering with that particular rally, and where some of the vehicles they were attacked, and of course the individuals got injured. We saw several journalists also being affected by this, especially also from the Royal Media Services, where their car was also attacked. And now you see, these are things that we always condemn each and every time. That let's not, as youth, let's not be like that much cheap, or rather, let us not be used at any point, whether paid or not paid. Then we shouldn't be like involving ourselves in such like activities. You see, from what we saw yesterday, individuals coming out and attacking these leaders who had got their rally, the Linda Mwananchi team. Then it's something that. If suppose, because we always say that everyone, we have got several political parties, and anyone has got a right to join any party of choice. But again, if suppose there is a party who is coming to your region, there is a party that is coming to your constituencies, or rather your ward, then you are not part and parcel of that particular team. You are not supporting that particular political party. Then you have no business to be involved in any activity as far as that political party is concerned. And therefore, at all costs, we need to avoid such like things. You see, fighting each other shouldn't will not solve anything. Rather, we will end up losing life, and rather losing properties. The property that at the end of it all, it is ours, and we are the interested individuals that will get lost as a result of that. Now, these are some of the leaders who were there. Of course, we saw Edwin Sifuna, the senator of Nairobi County. We saw Babu Owino, member of parliament. We also saw Senior Counsel James Agri-Orengo, the Siaya County governor. We had, of course, the governor of Trans Nzoia, that's George Natembeya. We had several leaders who were in that particular team. Now, they began the journey, but of course, according to what we saw earlier, we realized that a member of parliament addressed a section of course, as a section of Homa Bay County, and he was addressing people, saying that Homa Bay County is a two-term zone, and therefore, if there is any individual who is not supporting the two-term, then these people needs to be they need to take action against them, and the team is working so hard to ensure that if suppose you are in Homa Bay County and not from the two-term side, then they must ensure that they deal with you accordingly. Let's just look at what Peter Kalumba, the member of parliament from Homa Bay Town, was saying, and perhaps if that's what we really expect from a leader at any point.
Chakore sani wachiwo command ka wariwore kodu kaka tuond dalawa ng'ata mawacho ni one time ukal kode ine iwaka kata ine reba setiyo tich makocha ineno kateko kinya chiedo kodwa chiedo mar rito luor mar thurwa lalete mang'o konga miluongo ni Gachagua. Sama wantie ni wasechiwo direction hotel kotel ot ka ot mane gisechako bute wadhi chako go pexel kochakore sa Oringa ni hotel ainya Homa Bay Town constituency ka nyaki ng'e maler jomoni ni hoteli jobiro kalo gi ng'ano to tende no be wanya kalo go wacho tu makuyudo ng'at mawacho one time kalundu konye.
Addressing the nation and the other part of trying to say that if suppose you are not a member of two-term in that particular region, then you shouldn't be given an opportunity, or rather you shouldn't be seen in that particular in that particular area, or rather in that particular town. Now there is something he has said in that particular speech where he stated clearly that they are working hand in hand to ensure that even the hotels that these particular individuals who are going to sleep, or rather who are going to spend their time as they prepare for the rally, they would visit those particular hotels, those particular rooms, to ensure that they take these particular individuals out. Now, is that's of course something that we shouldn't really expect from leaders as far as the politics is concerned, or at any point. Then we always say that we only have one nation, and the nation is this particular country. We only have Kenya, and Kenya should be a business of, it should be our own concern, and of course our business where we take it positive, or rather we try to build it on a daily basis. We don't just wake up and see such like Pab's speeches. You see, we've seen earlier these two. That's of course this particular individual member of parliament who has been saying that. We don't deny that, of course, people have got political differences, but again, whatever came out yesterday whatever came out from him shouldn't be expected from a leader. We believe that as a country we move forward, and the authorities that are also interested, because the individuals have reacted into this, and we say that perhaps he will make a clear communication on why he decided to say so, or rather his own view on that. Now, moving on, these individuals, the Linda Mwananchi team, were in Homa Bay County, just as I said. Then we saw like they were being attacked, and of course at the end of it all they struggled through thick and thin to ensure that they succeeded and reached the Homa Bay town where they were supposed to meet each and every individuals. The members of Homa Bay County, they tried in as much as they could to ensure that they reach the destination that they had promised particular members. They had promised the nation at large, and we saw them having some of the speeches, and we saw them addressing nation, trying most of them like they were disappointed with what happened in Homa Bay County, and in as much as they had informed, or rather alerted the security sectors earlier, then what came out is not something that they really expected. Now, these goons were armed. We saw them. Of course, some individuals have been arrested, and we thank the security sector for that, ensuring that perhaps at least there is immediate action that has been taken. We believe that perhaps more individuals will be arrested just to show accountability, and of course to ensure that such activities doesn't happen again in any part of the country. Now, these individuals were armed, and if you look at it, the way these people were showing up in a busy town, then you could ask yourself, because they were chanting two-term as well. But now, what could be worrying more is that these individuals were fighting, and when you look at that, and when you look at that battle, it was just a pure battle between the supporters themselves. That of course the supporters from ODM side, and of course the supporters from Linda Mwananchi. These are just individuals, the common Mwananchi fighting. Now you ask yourself, if you as an individual, you are just a common Mwananchi, and you are fighting for another, you are fighting for a leader, and you are having a physical confrontation. And when you look at it within leaders, these people doesn't like have a physical confrontation. They don't fight in the way the Linda Mwananchi does it. Now, the question that you need to ask yourself is that as you go for this particular rallies, what's your business in that particular rally? What's your contribution? Are you going to fight? Because if suppose you are a supporter, then you are going there to get perhaps to know like the plan that these particular leaders are having for you, or rather the entire party is having for you. But of course, if you are not a supporter, or rather you are not interested, then if you are not a supporter of that political party, then you shouldn't be interested, and therefore you shouldn't rather go to that particular rally. Let's just have a look at what Honorable Edwin Sifuna had to say as far as that particular rally is concerned.
Jothurwa untie unena maber Unaona maber? Munaniona vizuri? Hapa munaniona vizuri? Mimi ndio Sifuna. Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Nyandiwa, nyinyi ni kina nani? Tuliamka asubuhi tukakuta wamefunga barabara. Lakini nyinyi watu wa Nyandiwa nataka mjipigie makofi kwa sababu muliingia nyinyi wenyewe. Mukatoa hiyo takataka walikuwa wameweka kwa barabara. Walisema hatuwezi kufika Nyandiwa. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Tumefika hatujafika? Mimi na mambo mawili peke yake. Jambo la kwanza nataka nichukue fursa hii ni washukuru nyinyi watu wa Nyandiwa, watu wa Suba na watu ya Homa Bay kwa ujumla. Kwa miaka 9 ambaye nimekuwa katibu wenu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, katibu mkuu wa baba Raila Amolo Odinga, mumeniunga mkono, mumenishikilia, mumenionyesha heshima. Nataka niseme asanteni sana kwa hiyo support ambayo mmenipatia nyinyi. Jambo la pili, nataka niwahakikishie hata mahasidi na maadui wakijaribu kuleta propaganda kati yetu, hatuachani na hatukosani, si ndio? Mimi ninavyojua nyinyi wote watu wa Homa Bay mnakumbuka vitu baba alikuwa anatufunza, si ndio? Baba alitufunza tuweke demokrasia mbele, tuweke uhuru wa wananchi mbele, tuweke utawala wa sheria mbele. Saa hii kuna watu hapa Homa Bay wanatuambia ati nyinyi watu ya jamii ya Luo Nyanza mumechoka kupigania demokrasia, ati mumechoka kupigania uhuru, ati mumechoka kupigania haki za kibinadamu, ati nyinyi bora barabara ijengwe hata wakiua Albert Ojwang ni sawa. Mnakubaliana na hii wakora? Mnakubaliana na hawa watu? Tuendelee ile barabara baba alitufunza, tuendelee barabara baba alituachia. Nataka niulize hapa Homa Bay, hapa ndio tunaambiwa ati Ruto ako na kura hapa Homa Bay, kwa sababu vile babu amewaambia na vile mheshimiwa Karoli amewaambia. Tumetembea Kenya mzima kama kikosi cha Linda Mwananchi, tumekuwa kule pwani, mheshimiwa Mwashako yuko hapa atawaambia hakuna kura ya kasongo kule pwani. Tumeenda mpaka Nakuru, tumeingia Umasaini, tumekuwa Kisii na kina Kibagendi, tumekuwa kule Western, hakuna kura ya kasongo mahali popote. Sasa wanatuambia hapa ati ndio stronghold ya kasongo. Nataka mseme kwa sauti moja Nyandiwa, mahali wengine wako wasikie. Hapa mnasemaje? Kasongo. Kasongo.
The current senator of Nairobi County addressing residents from Nyandiwa, that's of course in Homa Bay County. Yes, he was talking of the unity between him and of course the Member of Parliament Babu Owino, because earlier people have been saying, and rather the people have been questioning that just in case these two individuals are going for the same race, or rather what's really going to happen, because at some point you hear people talk of Mimi ndio Sifuna, or rather Sisi ndio Sifuna, and the people and others are like, is this not going to affect their relationship? Because also Babu, Babu comes up with the slogan "Babu kwa Babu," and people have been like, yeah, what's going to transpire between the two of you? And he has confirmed that in as much as people would talk, in as much as people would give different views, in as much as the people perhaps would say anything, then that has got nothing to do with their relationship. They stand firm to ensure that they remain united. Now, he has also asked Kenyans generally to be behind Linda Mwananchi at large, and therefore asked them to be united at any point. Nobody should be used, and appreciated the effort of Nyandiwa resident, because he has said that early in the morning the roads were blocked and there were goons everywhere, but of course the residents showed up to ensure that perhaps they clear these roads to give Linda Mwananchi team an easier way to move, and he has appreciated that effort and asked them to remain united, to remain behind Linda Mwananchi, that they are the best leadership that is going to take the country forward, and of course to also unseat Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the current president of the Republic of Kenya. Now, when you look at his speech, he has also questioned a lot of things that these leaders that we do have, these leaders in this particular region have got, they are coming to show up, or rather they are doing things that are different. Whatever they do in cameras is much different from whatever is happening in the ground. And in as much as they would come out and preach peace, or rather talk positively on things, in as much as they would come out on camera and tell us what they have done. But now when you go back to the ground, things are totally different. There are no development that can be accounted for. We talk of poor infrastructure, we talk of poor roads, we talk of poor health services in hospitals. These are things that are continuing to drag a country behind. But now these leaders comes and show up saying that they are doing a lot as far as this particular areas is concerned, but deep down they are not doing anything. We continue with that speech and see what he finalizes with.
Kasongo aende asiende. Mimi nataka mjue shida zangu zote ndani ya chama cha ODM zilianza siku ile polisi walitoka Nairobi wakakuja hapa Homa Bay, wakachukua kijana mdogo anaitwa Albert Ojwang, mnamjua hamumjui, wakampeleka kwa cell, wakapiga yeye huko mpaka wakaua. Mimi nikasema tulikuwa tumeandikisha mkataba na chama cha UDA kwamba mauaji ya kiolela ya vijana itasimama. Siku ile waliua Albert Ojwang, nikasema hiyo ndio mwisho ya uhusiano wangu na hii serikali dhalimu ya UDA. Ndio maana mumeona wamenifurusha kama katibu wenu mkuu, lakini tulikuwa Taita Taveta, vijana wa Taita wakasema wachana na vitu ya SG, tunataka kukupatia ingine inaitwa HE. Munaniona vizuri? Hiyo HE si inatoshana tu na mimi. Nataka niwaombe ya kwamba tunapotoa uamuzi wa kusonga mbele, watu wote ambao mlikuwa mnaamini kwa sera za baba Raila Amolo Odinga, watu wote ambao mnaamini katika demokrasia na haki na utawala wa sheria, mtembee na sisi. Mutatembea na sisi? Mutatembea na sisi? Vile munaona huyu Sifuna kujenga stadium itanishinda, kujenga barabara itanishinda, lakini ahadi ambaye natoa, hakuna siku nitatuma polisi wangu wachukue vijana wenu hapa Homa Bay wawafanyie madhara ambaye walifanyia Albert Ojwang. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Narudisha kwa Babu Owino.
Erokamano. Nyandi wa untie. Poka winjo nyandi wa untie. Soba North untie. Homa Bay untie.
Now that's some of the final speeches from Edwin Sifuna. He has talked of where the problem began in between the relationship between the ODM and of course the UDA family, where he talked of he mentioned Albert Ojwang, who was who died in police custody, and therefore under known circumstances, and of course was announced dead upon arriving in hospital. And now people are asking, like, he said that in his administration, these such like things will not be expected at any point, and therefore he asks that in as much as ODM and UDA came into an agreement, then that's where he lost trust in this particular government and decided to part ways. Now, he talked of a different name, of course, in as much as people could call him the SG, Secretary General of ODM. Then now when they traveled to Taita Taveta, he was given a new name. That's, of course, he replaced that SG with the HE, that's His Excellency. And he has asked that if he really deserves that particular name, and people are like, yes, he really deserves it. These are just some of the things that a question that he has been asking when you look at some of the rallies that they have been having, to ensure that he is just asking that if at any point will he be left behind at any point, or rather could he be going to that race and he doesn't have supporters at the back. That's why he has been confirming this in each and every rallies that they do have in the entire part of the country. You have talked of roads and asked that these are some of the things that the common Mwananchi should expect from different leaders. But now, when given an opportunity, he will ensure that these things, it can't take much time in preparing them, or rather in constructing some of these things. He has talked of roads, that roads can't really be a problem to him. Constructing roads is something that is very easy to him. And anyone who believed in democracy, if there's anyone who believed in Raila Amolo Odinga, if there's anyone who stood for Raila Amolo Odinga, then the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga is with them. Whoever has been supporting Raila Amolo Odinga should support the Linda Mwananchi team, because they carry the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga with them, and ask the entire team that let's not be preaching the politics of division, but instead embrace peace at all the time. You see, we have to struggle on a daily basis, or rather we have got things to discuss on a daily basis. But at the end of it all, what's our conclusion? How do we end our conversation? If suppose we have got a disagreement, then how are we going to handle this? We shouldn't be shedding blood to come into a conclusion. We shouldn't be ending life to come into a conclusion. We shouldn't be destroying any property to come into conclusion. But instead, we should find an amicable way to end, or rather have a conclusion at all time. Let's look from what the governor of Siaya County, that's the senior counsel, James Agri Orengo, had to say as well.
Orengo tuolonge goke, Orengo nyawawa, angi matin madwa wacho, mokwongo urwako Linda Mwananchi nyandiwa ka negi badu. Mar ariyo, wan kaka oganda maluo, juok Raila ok nothog Raila, juok Raila pod nitie. Jadi moyien juok Raila pod nitie. Awachra kenda, telika ok mi ng'ato. Jadi moyien nyatieng'e Raila modong' e piny luo kaya ne bado. Ane badu kendo. Ana adwa wacho ni sama biro kae, kachopo Ndhiwa, to ntiere aora moro motemo loronwa kanyo. Wan gi natembea to obwodho bobiro. Ogo mtokni gi kite, ma wacho na adok Nyandiwa adhi deal kode perpendicularly. Ago gi Mario gi polis ma daro gi Ndhiwa. Atimo maber kuza atimo marach. Emomiyo Orengo chopo kae. Wan joluo, uwinja. Wan joluo, uwinja. Wan joluo, uwinja. Tho Raila nyaka wang'e kaka Raila notho. Koso ji ohen Raila otho atho kamano. Tarik 15 dwe mar 10 nitiere 10 mar Raila Amolo Odinga. Ka Ruto dwaro tiyo gi jaluo, to tarik 15 kobiro Bondo, kaka nowacho nen motero Agwambo Bondo e wilbaro, kobiro to wacho nang'o monego Raila. En monong'e gima nonego Raila. En monogolo Raila e ode kotero e India. En monogolo Raila e jet ndege maduong', to duoko Raila e sanduk. Jadi moyene Ruto nyaka nyiswa wacho Raila neka. Mar ariyo, Ruto wuondo ji gi weche mag dongruok. Nyocha kane wan Muhuru kae, tasiemo ne Migingo ni Ruto ne Migingo ni kae. Be uwinje kada Ruto kawacho kado odiochieng' achiel wach Migingo? Jadi mosewinjo ka Ruto wacho wach Migingo. Wadwaro mondo Migingo duoke Kenya koso kik oduoke Kenya. Jadi madwaro Migingo monane.
Now he has got several questions, and there is something that is talking of where he has mentioned that in as much as the spirit of Raila Amolo Odinga is still in Linda Mwananchi, then he believes that he is the right candidate, or rather is the best individual who can replace the late Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has asked all the general supporters to support him, or rather back him in every step that he makes as an individual, and we are looking forward to see on the final decision that they are going to make. Now, he has also questioned the death of the late Raila Amolo Odinga, and he has made some clear information that perhaps the needs also to be looked into, and that, of course, is a question that each and every individual has been asking, and therefore we believe that there are things that do happen, and of course we can't avoid at any circumstances. We will see on what's going on for that. Now, the entire Linda Mwananchi talked of something that is very key. They have talked of uniting Kenyans. They have talked of perhaps giving out their own views. But now, when you look at the general communication from individuals, people have been asking that people are like, we've seen the current governor of Homa Bay County, that's Honorable Gladys Wangu, is also the chairperson of ODM, and Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the current president of the Republic of Kenya, being in good terms as far as leadership is concerned. And of course, we saw earlier the current president having some tours in Homa Bay County, and people have been like asking themselves that there are huge developments in Homa Bay County, and therefore, just in case people talked of good leadership, then these are the things that individuals need also to look into clearly. Now, moving on, through that attack in that particular region, then people tried to learn something new and asked that, what's really going to happen? What's really happening? Because when you look at the roads that were used by Linda Mwananchi team, then they were not tarmacked. Most of them were not tarmacked at any point, and therefore they were also not in good conditions. And these are raised alarm, and people are asking that the development that people have been talking of in that particular region, is it real, or rather, what's really happening? Now, people have turned against that and asking that there is no development again that has been, whatever people have been seeing in social media are different from what is in a ground, and therefore people interacted and gave out different views. Let's just look at the response from Member of Parliament Emilio Odhiambo and see on what he had to say, and allow me to quote, "Most of our roads are bad in Suba South and North. Let us stop cheating people by saying those are feeder roads and that the main roads were barricaded. What you see other than Homa Bay to Mbita and Rusinga Ring Road are the main roads. President Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila tarmacked Homa Bay town to Mbita town. President Uhuru built the Mbita bridge. President Ruto has tarmacked the Rusinga Ring Road. He has opened the Mfangano Ring Road, and tarmacking is commencing. He has remarked a few others to be done, including the Sindo Mbita Road. CS Mbadi recently launched 2 in my constituency, one of which is the one being used now. We've been marginalized for years. Sugarcoating it by calling the bad roads feeder roads will stop the government from prioritizing these roads. CS Mbadi, Tigiwi. The world has made enough mockery of us today, calling us Afghanistan and all. It is time this ended. Subas are Kenyans too." That's, of course, a direct communication from end of the quote. That's, of course, the direct speech from Emilio Odhiambo, has said that let's not criticize everything, but again, let's also be realistic in what we do on a daily basis as leaders generally, to ensure that perhaps whatever comes in is what we now give to the common Mwananchi, and not like the fake news. Now, generally, when we look at the general overview about this thing, then you realize that people have got different ideologies as far as politics is concerned. But again, we shouldn't be experiencing this at any point, or rather at any given hour. We've seen Linda Mwananchi touring most of the parts of the country. We've seen them in Taita Taveta. We've seen them in several regions, and most of the countries in this particular country. But again, there are certain things that we never experienced before, but that were experienced yesterday in Homa Bay County. earlier we had a tension in that particular county, because you remember this is also the same county where we have got the chairperson of ODM, who is also serving as the governor of that particular county, and therefore with the Leader Mwananchi team, these people were one family earlier, but now they can't be into good terms because of different in political ideologies, or rather difference in agendas. But now this they are now trying to put this into public, or rather they are now trying to put these differences into action, whereby now we see movement is not becoming that much easier. Individuals can't like have a successful, rather peaceful campaign in most of these particular regions. According to what we've been seeing from the Member of Parliament from Homa Bay Town, and what we've seen like in his speech that of course we just played earlier, yeah, he believes that if suppose you need to only be welcome in that particular region, but of course only if you are a two-term, or rather if you are supporting Dr. William Samoei Ruto. And again, if you are not supporting the president for the second term, then you shouldn't be given any opportunity in that particular region. That's not something that perhaps is uniting, or rather is bringing people together at any point, or rather promoting the country that we do have, that we need to perhaps be united and introduce good things that is going to help the next generation. You see, according to the president, what he said in his speech, and of course, if you can remember so well, there is something he said that let's not be prioritizing elections each and every time. Like right now, people are focusing in 2027 from members of county assembly, members of parliament, senators, women rep, to the governors, to the leaders are now coming out and asking for votes for 2027. That's of course in less than a year we shall be having that particular general election, and now everyone is focusing on that. The question that the president said that let's not be prioritizing the elections, but instead let's focus also on the next generation that is going to come. What the president was trying to say generally is just like, let's now build something that's going to help us today, and of course the next generation that is coming after us, and not like just focusing on election each and every time, because at the end of it all, we may look into it and say that we are going to do this as a country, or rather we are going to do this as an individual, of course as a leader. But again, what are you expecting beside that? What's really going to happen, or rather what's your plan against that? Focus on building something that is going to help the country. It should be something that is going to last, that serves people now and of course the next coming generation. That's what the president said. Now, we believe that we will see individuals coming out. We will see several parties coming out. But remember also, Leader Mwananchi have not come out and say that this is our flag bearer as Leader Mwananchi. This is the person who is going to represent us as the president, or rather as our presidential candidate. We saw Edwin Sifuna, who is also saying that he deserves that HE. That's of course His Excellency. But of course, at the same time, we've seen Senior Counsel James Agrioreng, who is also asking that he is the best person to replace Raila Amolo Odinga, and therefore he needs, in as much as he is the party leader of Leader Mwananchi, then he also deserves also to be like seen as someone who is also very great, because he has also participated in a lot of things as far as this country is concerned. Now, through that we've only seen Babu Win, who has come out and said that he's going for the gubernatorial race, and that's something that people have in mind. But now, so far, we are not clear on who is going to be the flag bearer of Leader Mwananchi, or what's going to be their next move. Now, people are also trying to weigh that and see like who will they give out as their best, or rather preferred candidate to represent them. And looking forward, we will also update you just in case such like things do happen as far as now leadership is concerned. We are also still looking forward on to what's really going to happen as far as ODM and of course the entire ODM led by Dr. Buruding, and what they're really going to have by the UDA side based on the agreement. Now we continue that. Leader Mwananchi continue to tour several regions across the country, and they are also looking forward to touring some part of the country this particular weekend. When you look at their rallies, they are just trying to urge supporters to come together. Generally they are asking individuals that, in as much as people could believe in Raila Amolo Odinga, in as much as Raila Amolo Odinga also did much that can't be compared like with any other, even with any other individual, then Raila only like rested physically, but of course the spirit still is still alive, and the spirit is only within them. And now, if suppose you are a true leader, or rather, if you suppose you are a true citizen who is fighting for democracy and who is also fighting for good leadership at all cost, then you need to support the Leader Mwananchi team and come and wish them the very best, stand with them at all cost, and they believe that they are the best. They are going to produce like the best candidate to the presidency race. And when you look at some of the conversations that they have been having, we've seen them talking with the Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. We've seen them coming out also to talk to several people. We saw the party leader having a discussion with of course the former CS for gender Aisha Juma to encourage her, of course, also to join the Leader Mwananchi team. We will see on the final stages what really is going to happen, because in such situation, or rather in this situation, or rather in this time of elections, final times of election, or rather and campaigns as well, individuals do come out, and a lot do happen. People have been joining different political parties, some leaving different political parties, and just to see based on the agendas that different political parties do have, and rather the interest that they do have as far as leadership is concerned. Not just leadership, but a good leadership. Now, from my side, we only have one country, and please, I would like to encourage you just as a common Mwananchi that please ensure that we don't just we talk of peace as leaders, but of course we remain. Whatever comes out of us is something that needs to unite Kenyans at large. And of course, I would like to encourage the entire team, or rather the security sectors, for the good job that you have been doing. But again, also improve to ensure that perhaps a lot like in this different in this time of politics, we try to secure our own leaders, and as well as the common Mwananchi, so that the country becomes safe for each and every individual. To you, my dear audience, please, wherever you are watching this, take it to heart that every step that we make as a nation starts with you as an individual. It starts with you as a Kenyan citizen. Now, the effort that you put into is as an individual is what, like, when we come together as a group, we'll build the nation. And therefore, every time, let's never fight at any point due to any political ideologies, or rather anything. We shouldn't be having any political, any physical confrontation, but instead, let's find a way of speaking peacefully to ensure that the country moves forward. Just as the president has been urging, let's protect our country. We shouldn't be like fighting at our own country, because at the end of it all, this is what we have, this is what we owe as an individual. Now, begin with you. Protect yourself, protect your neighbor. Then as a constituency, as a ward, as a county, at large, we protect ourselves to ensure that we are moving forward. No more fighting because of political ideas. No more fighting because different in anything, but instead we stand firm to build our country, to build our nation, and of course to create job opportunities, so that the next generation, which is also coming, will have got a better country and have a positive begin that deserves to each and every part of the country. As we move forward, from my side, I really appreciate your efforts. Thank you so much for keeping it live here in Swecho TV every day. And of course, you can reach us in our social media at Swechotv Kenya. And of course, you can also email us at swechotv@gmail.com. Coming to you live every Monday to Friday is the hot seat with me, none other than Dedan Jack Homa, aka Nyundo himself. From my side, I really appreciate your effort. Please keep it here live here in Swecho TV. At 1 p.m. I will also be giving you the lunchtime news. Please be prepared for that, and don't miss that exactly at 1 p.m. And of course, not also forgetting the sports sector, because we are only 3 days away to the begin of the EPL, the most watched football across the country. Now again, at 3 p.m. we shall have the launch with none other than Monica Lewinsky. Not forgetting at 5 we shall have the three-legged stool with Faith Utin and Chacha Tobias. Those are one of the best shows that you shouldn't ever miss at any point at all cost. Thank you so much and have a blessed day ahead.
Aende asiende. Mimi nataka mjue shida zangu zote ndani ya chama cha ODM.
Amolo